Sunday, May the 5th, 7/20/2024, detecting time of the day. You know, it's very clear to me that a lot of these people are doing what they're doing, associated with metal detectors for monetary gain. It's a shame, ain't it? You see, I still go around and post on some of these metal detecting forums. A lot of these same people that used to, they don't anymore. Do they feel they're too good to do that? Or not? Or are they afraid they will monetarily affect themselves? Sharpshooter is not trying to monetize anything. Actually, it's costing me money, to be honest with you. You know, I buy the batteries for these cameras and buy the cameras. But I still go around and share some data on some of these forums. You know, you take some of these detectors out of the box, and you know, there's more to them that meets the eye. You know, the Manticore, the Equinox series, even the Vanquish. You can learn things. I've tried to show you some good examples and get you to thinking, and how you may decide to use your equipment. Now, you don't have to use it the same way all the time. You know, you could be a full-time employee. I'm not, I'm retired. That's why I get to show y'all all this stuff. You could be a full-time employee. You could be coming home from work and you live by a beach and you want to just stop and punt 45 minutes before you go home. Well, you don't want to go to that beach, be getting over little old sprigs of fall and digging them, do you? You want to get out there and see if you can't get over a gold ring, for example. Well, I showed you a way that might afford you to speed up your process. You know, that little video yesterday. So I've showed a lot of examples, you know, for coin hunters, for relic hunters. Now, you know, when you're out in a sighting, you're digging practically every signal. You don't need to know as much about that detector per se. You see what I mean? To go out and do a dig all in a big old field is not, there's not as much you have to know to be successful. You start getting into select digging, okay, and make the best out of it. You know, you're not out there just haphazardly doing it. It's structure's what I call it, where there's been some, you know, thought put into it. Every time you select dig, there's always a risk with every metal detector made. But to select dig and minimize your risk and use the tools on board if the detector affords them, to me is good, because it can make your detecting time more efficient. Okay, it can in the long run, but I remember, you know, it depends on how much time maybe you have to detect. You know, I mean, you know, if you walk into a park, for example, You know, you could dig 4 zinc and pennies not knowing any better with that Deus 2, for example. Clear reading 85 signals, and you haven't done any checks for masking. You know, you dig 3 or 4 holes, the weather's hot, you know, that takes up a lot of your time. Sharpshooter could be blowing by you, for example. He could have checked them, there's no masking. And he's done down and he's done got over the silver ring, or, you know, you see what I'm saying? So you watch my channel, you know, there's some people that writes books, you know, and I'm not demeaning them, you know, they do what they want. But they don't give them books away. When you watch what I've showed you, it don't cost you anything but your time. That's it. And it's in a place where you can go back. You might lose your book. The dog might eat your book. You see what I'm saying? And these books can become outdated too. If you'd have bought a book about the Deus 2 when it first come out, after it'd been out for about 6 months, 8 months, and look what you would have now. You'd have an outdated book. So I try to keep, you know, it's up-to-date stuff. I do try to always say what version I'm using on the detector, and for good reason. It's also like why I like to put this date in the title of these Detecting Talk of the Days, because you could do a Google search. I've said this before. You can do a video, you know, and it pops up. And some of them will say, oh, done a year ago. Well, that don't tell me shit. One of my Detecting Talk of the Day videos pops up in your Google search, you're going to see the exact day, so you can sort of associate, oh, that was done then. Oh, this is done just a week ago. Well, there could be different data depending. You see how these manufacturers update these machines. So that's the deal. I'm probably gonna, I've got another project that I'm working on. It ain't detector related. Okay. But I'm about ready to start breaking this rifle back out, boys. That's what I'm good at. Alright. And I've got some viewers on this channel of mine. They've been asking questions in some of these detecting about some rimfire rifles and some recommendations. So I'll be breaking that rifle back out. There'll be some more videos about them squirrels. So you buy your detector. There's a lot of good information on this channel of mine for beginners, intermediate. I guarantee you there's people out there that's owned a Deus 2 almost since the beginning, and I've showed them stuff just in the last 3 or 4 weeks they didn't even know about. Never realized. You know, I don't do Facebook. I'm sure some of what I've showed has made its way over there. Some people over there may have claimed the information for their own. It's not my information per se, but you see what I'm saying? I don't really care one way or the other. I just want to see people be successful with their equipment. You know? And you know, you do have those people out there, you know, they frown on what I'm doing. It's either they claim it's like maybe it's an insult to human intelligence, or a person can do it on their own, learn it on their own. Well, that's fine. Don't watch YouTube. Nobody is forcing. If you get on one of my videos You got on it yourself. Sharpshooter didn't hold you at gunpoint, neither did anybody else. So if you come there and you watch and you don't learn anything, so be it. You know, you could come there though and you don't necessarily learn anything, but you see something or you've done something and you've had some doubts, or maybe you never really put any real thought into it, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, oh yeah, I remember that. So the next time it happens, or you see something, or hear something, or whatever, or do something, you're like, oh, I won't get caught in this little trap here again. Every second counts when you're out metal detecting. You can get into habits. You know, I had a gentleman on one of the forums last night make a comment to me. Well, I'm in this club and I've never heard of anybody saying a zinc and penny is a nuisance target. I've never heard of anybody not digging zinc and pennies, you know. Well, I know better than that. There probably ain't an experienced detectorist out there that's never detected at one time or another where they've either notched or had zinc and pennies disc out, metal detect. I'm guilty. So I don't know what rock that old dude had been under or whatever, but that's the truth. You don't have to do it. You know, you can listen to them. I've showed you some things you can do to maybe put more good stuff in your bag and leave the trash and leave the nuisance target like that zinging in the ground. You think about what I'm saying here. If you take that JS2 to a site, to a park, you get an 85 deadlock in that meter. You hit that ground bounce button like I've showed you. You don't hear any iron tone. The signal sounds clean. No lower conductive masking. When you leave that target in the ground, you've left that target in the ground for the next sucker. You see what I'm saying? See, when you can do something with your metal detector and you can leave it in the ground with good odds, you're letting the next person have to come in and maybe they don't know any better. So you have employed them, so to speak. You give them a job. Dig that zinc and penny. And you can't do two things at once with a metal detector. While you're digging that zinc and penny, they can't be sweeping that coal to get over that gold ring or that silver coin in that site. They may leave that because they've took their time digging that junker. I mean, that's how I look at this. You know, beach, you could apply the same way on a beach. You know? I went to a beach after 4th of July weekend, a big old beach. I know what the sharpshooter would be doing. Wouldn't be out there digging down 35 reading signals with that, but JS2. Ain't no way in hell. And I wouldn't be digging signals that reads in the copper and silver range, you know, either. I mean, a silver piece of jewelry would be worth, a silver ring's worth what? What's a gold ring worth? Well, anyway, that's going to conclude the detecting talk of the day. I may do a video or two later today. We'll see. Hope everybody has a nice day.